Probably my wife. They're
Uh,
watching something on TV. I don't even know what it is.
I don't want to know because it probably is stupid.
Yep.
Come on, show up on my end, YouTube. Come on, you can do. There we go. And hello there, dear viewers. It is the DOUG here once again on YouTube's end for the NFL Week 6 picks and, of course, Week 7 for college football of the 2025-2026 season. But I am not doing this alone. As many of you know, we have a partner in crime, a man who enjoyed his bye week, which...
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hope everyone's having a good night. By the way, Dave is not here with us tonight. He is actually on set filming a movie, so you can try to make some of that money. Yeah, talking about that money. Yeah, something that me and Travis can't really earn.
Nope. Nope, not at all.
But, hey, we were honest, though. Let's get this put on Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, I need to do that too.
Yeah, I'll put it on Facebook. Twitter later.
How many followers are you up to now?
On what, Twitter or YouTube?
YouTube.
I'm at 605.
Hey, you went up.
Yeah, so hey, I finally hit over 600. Let's hope it stays like that. And while we wait for everyone...
We'll make sure.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, while we wait for everyone to join in and watch on both ends, let's give a quick recap of college football from last week. Other games we had, Miami beat Florida State pretty easily. Vanderbilt did not survive Alabama, but you can make the case Vanderbilt, the Navy came out swinging. And here's an interesting thing. Navy is undefeated. So if Navy wins out, they can actually make the college football playoff. So that's going to be interesting if they can do that. I would love to see Navy get in because I think that'd be great. UConn easily won their game over FIU. SMU beat Syracuse, and Nebraska beat Michigan State. Now, I do have to talk about two games in particular because both of them will be up for Clown of the Week when we get to that later. And that's, of course, first one. Penn State and UCLA. Oh, my fucking God. I was watching this. By the way, Dave's in the comment section. I was watching this game at the hospital with my stepdad. We were both dumbfounded on what the fuck was going on, okay? We couldn't believe that. And Penn State lost to UCLA. So UCLA, hey, congratulations on getting your first win with an interim head coach, no less. But Penn State, that actually knocked them out of the top 25, and I'm going to say this, that's probably knocked them out of the playoff, because, at least I could say, okay, you lost to Oregon, it was overtime, you could still make it in. But losing to UCLA, oh no, you're done. You'll make a bowl game, but you ain't making the playoffs.
They gotta win the Big Ten.
They got to, and I don't see them doing that, because they still got to play Ohio State in about, I think, another week or so they're done. But they're not the only team done. Now, yes, I know this team is an SEC team. They could kind of maybe get in, but I don't see that happening, and that's the Texas Longhorns. Not only did he lose to Florida, which is bad enough because Florida's not a good team this year, I'm going to say this, and I'm guilty of this because I hyped them up a bit as well, but I think me and the media, we owe an apology to people because we hyped up the Manning guy way too much. I feel like maybe Texas did not develop him good enough now at looking at what's happened. After 6 games, the Longhorns kind of probably should develop him a little bit more, and unfortunately just proved. Just because the last name was Manning does not mean he's a good quarterback. Yes, and both those...
he's what? The Manning that never did anything in the NFL?
Correct.
Is that his dad? Yeah, so...
Yeah, his dad's...
I don't know, yeah.
But... there is still time to turn it around for him, I'm kind of glad he's not going out in the draft next year.
I'm going to make a prediction.
All right.
He enters the transfer portal.
I could see that. I could see him doing that and going somewhere that can develop him, because I don't think Texas are going to develop him, the Longhorns. I don't see that.
I can see where he may go.
I would say he would go where his family gone to. He would either go to Ole Miss or Tennessee.
I don't think he's going to stay in the SEC because it's too hard.
Oh, you think he'll go outside, maybe the ACC?
I think he's going to go to Clemson.
That could work for Clemson. Still there. Dabo does do well with quarterbacks. I think Dabo will still be there. I think he's just having a rough year since he's actually having to get used to the portal. Dave says he sucks, Archie. Now, we will be talking about more about Penn State and Texas and the Texas Longhorns later when we get to our Clown of the Week segment. Corey says that $30 million NIA may keep him at Texas. That is true, that money. But let's get to the college.
Appreciate the follow.
Let's get to the college games we have this week. No problem. By the way, I'm 27-18 in college. I'm doing well there. First game we have for college this week, Washington and Rutgers. Washington made a comeback against Maryland. I have not really seen enough of Rutgers, so give me Washington over Rutgers in this situation.
Yeah, I got Washington. I've seen them. They look, they look pretty good. Pretty good.
Now, this next game does feature a Virginia score, but not the best one, which is, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Virginia Cavaliers, just take a left turn real quick. Virginia can actually make the playoffs as well if they win out and win the ACC. So Virginia could actually get into the playoff this year as well. So which would be fucking hilarious, because I don't think anybody had Virginia doing anything this year.
No.
It could happen, so we'll see, because they are still ranked. So good for them on that one. But we have Marshall versus Old Dominion. Give me Marshall here. I know Old Dominion's been playing all right, but I think I have to go with Marshall here. I usually pick Marshall even when they're not favored to win.
Yeah, I'm going with Marshall. I haven't seen enough of Old Dominion against, only game I saw them is when they embarrassed Virginia Tech, but I still got Marshall. Marshall's got a better football team and program.
I agree. Dave said Washington, and then he's got Marshall. Corey says favored in every game remaining. I think he means Virginia Cavaliers on that one. Up next, Ohio State and Illinois. Now, Ohio State's ranked very high. Illinois is trying to shock the world here if they get the upset. Ohio State's just too much of a good team here. Buckeyes are going to probably easily walk through Illinois. I give Illinois prop. They did look better last week after getting destroyed a few weeks ago. So I hope Illinois keeps it close, but give me Ohio State easily.
I'm gonna go Ohio State, but it's gonna be closer than what people think. I think Illinois will cover their spread for the sports bets.
Corey's got the herd, so he's got Marshall, and Dave's taking Illinois in the upset.
Well, Illinois used to be ranked. I don't know if they still are or not.
I don't remember either. Up next, well, this is going to hurt Travis here. Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has looked good since firing their head coach, but it's rebuilding for Tech. I have to go with Georgia Tech on this one. I cannot side picking a Virginia school here, so give me Georgia Tech. They're the better team.
Yeah, I'm not picking Virginia Tech, even though they're my team. They're rebuilding. They got $250 million next year floating for a head coach, so you better get somebody fucking good and rebuild the football team, but Georgia Tech's going to walk all over them.
Michael Vick. Let's see. Coy has Illinois.
Be head coach.
So, man, why are two people picking Illinois? Are we missing something here?
Do you know who I think it's going to be?
Who do you think is going to be the new Tech head coach?
I think it's going to be Shane Beamer. I think he's going to leave South Carolina.
If that happens, that would be interesting, because wasn't he already at Tech before?
He was like an offensive something when his dad was there at the tail end of his career.
Okay, that makes more sense then. I am surprised, though. Dave and Coy picked Illinois, and both of them had picked Georgia Tech, so I wish Dave was here. Coy could say why they both picked Illinois besides the upset shocker. And by the way, yes, I do know the thing that just broke with the Tar Heels. I'm going to discuss that in a minute because they're getting added to the Clown of the Week too. Next, USC versus Michigan. I know she said Dad.
USC, even they don't look that good.
Yeah, I'm honest too. I flipped a coin. I have USC winning over Michigan. Dave says fuck Ohio, and then he's got Michigan winning, which is not a surprise. He is a Michigan fan. Last game we have to talk about, and a game that before week 1 looked pretty damn good. Now that we're in week 7, yeah, this game fucking sucks. Oklahoma, Texas. Give me Oklahoma. We just buried Texas literally not too long ago. So give me Oklahoma.
Yep. Yeah, Oklahoma. Easily.
Corey says USC, Michigan coach sucks. All right. Now that we have made our picks before we get to week 8, Tar Heels. There is a rumor that they might actually buy out Bill Belichick's contract because of how bad they have been playing. The Tar Heels are the gift that just keeps on giving. Which I hate to say this, we all kind of knew that, yeah, when Belichick took the job, this was not going to be fun. You know, they were supposed to be on HBO to do like a Hard Knocks for college football. That fans got up and left before even the second half started. North Carolina is trash. I think the only good win was against Richmond.
Is that even a good win, playing Richmond?
No, but it's the only good one they got. So, the wheel has been spun. Here are our week 8 games we will be picking next week for week 8. Oh, dear God.
I don't like when you say that.
Here are the games for week 8. Minnesota versus Nebraska. Game 2 for next week. California against North Carolina. Apparently, Bill Belichick hates us. Game 3. Vanderbilt against LSU.
That was a pretty good game.
Game 4 in the Battle of Virginia. JMU versus Old Dominion. The wheel hates us.
Snooze fest.
Game 5. Virginia versus Washington State. I guess the wheel heard us talking about Virginia and they wanted us to shine on them. And the last game, oh great.
This is hard for me to say. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Last game for college next week. UConn versus Boston College. Oh, the wheel can go to hell.
I will say, the committee that does the picks for rankings, I know Virginia lost, and it was early. But why are they only ranked 19th? They should be higher.
They should. Corey's got OKC and UConn's next week, so we're not worried about next week. But he's got OKC as well. So let's go to the NFL now before we talk about the news and the clowns and that part. Of course, Thursday, the Rams lost to the 49ers because of their running back. We'll get to that in a little bit. Browns, again, great defense, but no offense as they lost to the Vikings. Cowboys beat the Jets with ease. By the way, Jets did make history in that game. Texans destroyed the Ravens in a game that wasn't even close. You can ask Travis and Dave in the comments. I was begging and pleading for CBS to switch the game because it was already over at one point, and CBS didn't do it. Fox should have did the same thing because even at some point you could tell the Jets were going to lose. The Giants choke away a win, giving the Saints the first win of the year. The Broncos shocked the world and beat the Eagles. But there might be some interesting things about the Eagles we're going to discuss because there are things that most people may not know. Colts easily destroyed the Raiders because, well, there was a stabbing. Yeah, you know what I'm hinting at. The Dolphins choked away the win against the Panthers, giving the Panthers a win. The Buccaneers won a shootout with the Seahawks. The Cardinals forgot how to play football and lost to the Titans. The Chargers lose to the Skins. The Lions kind of didn't look the greatest, but they handled their business with the Bengals. The Patriots show that they are back maybe as they upsetted the Bills. Then, of course, on Monday night, Trevor Lawrence, Mr. Sunshine, tripped over his foot, got a touchdown, and beat the Chiefs. Thank you, God. So I went 5-9. And I am 47-30-1 for the season. Now, Travis, give us those standings right now.
All right, season standings for the basement. Dark, you are alone again. You are 44-33-1. Rosie, 45-32-1. Then Doug, unfortunately, you're 47-30-1. Then we have a tie with Rays and Dave at 48-29-1. Corey in second at 49-28-1. And still going for the three-peat myself in first 53, 24, and 1.
Not bad. Dave says, damn, you sucked. Hey, it wasn't my fault this was the upset week from hell, okay? But I will say this. Notre Dame won last week, my Cowboys won last week, and my fantasy football team won last week. So, a little bit of a nice trade-off, I guess. But some of these games we got to discuss. First, the Rams and 49ers. Okay. A lot of people are mad at the Rams head coach for not kicking the 3 and trying to get the first down in overtime. Before we even get to that, we have to discuss the running back in particular, because he's the reason the Rams kind of lost, in my opinion, because he fumbled the ball, and I look now, in overtime, Rams have the ball. It's 4th and 1. Niners take a timeout. I think all of us who are watching the game at this point know what was going to happen. The Rams were going to do a running play. I think everybody kind of figured that. You were going to give the running back a second chance, which I didn't like that call. Then the Rams take a timeout. At that point, I would have said, okay, we know they know we're doing a running play. I would have did a pass because Matthew Stafford was hot that whole second half. Do a short pass to the tight end or give it to one of your wide receivers who have been playing great all game. Instead, you do the running play that everybody fucking knew was happening, and it got stopped. Niners defense and offense, I give you credit. I didn't think you were going to win because of the injuries, but the Rams tossed themselves that game. Now, I also said to people, I would have took the 3 points there and see if your defense could have did something, because Mac Jones was playing injured at the end of that game. He was hurt bad. You know, that's the reports we were hearing. He was hurt bad, not 100%. But Rams didn't want to do that. I know they were probably thinking, hey, we don't want to be like Dallas and Green Bay and be in a tie, but, the tie probably would have been better than the loss, because now the Niners are ahead of you, right now, and this could come back to bite you later in the year. We shall see. Next, Cleveland. Oh, my God. Cleveland. It's not even about the loss. This is more about the Bengals as well. You guys traded Joe to the Bengals. I don't know why, because I'm sorry, I'm going to say this for the Bengals. Joe Falco, he's not a mobile quarterback. He's going to be in the pocket. Bengals have the worst offensive line in the NFL. We're probably going to see the Packers are probably going to be committing a crime. There's probably going to be a murder happening in that game with Joe getting killed. So let's all pray for Joe Falco.
I don't see us blitzing. I don't see the Packers blitzing a lot because they don't have a fucking secondary that can defend Jamar Chase or T. Higgins.
That is the one issue we'll talk about when we get to that game later. But I just had to bring that up just to get it out of the way. Now the Jets. The only reason I'm bringing this game up is not because it's my Cowboys. The Jets made history. They are the first 0-5 team to also not have, I believe, any turnovers by the defense.
Yep.
So I don't know how the Jets are this bad, because the head coach was a defensive man in Detroit, but they also get a lot of penalties. Their defense can't do anything. It makes me feel better about my defense for the Cowboys. So, Jets, congratulations on the history. By the way, the Jets right now are in the lead for the number 1 pick. Baltimore's also in the top 5. Speaking of which, I think to say this, if the Ravens don't win... Oh, Ravens shocked me too, that one. I think that's the biggest shocker this year, how bad the Ravens are. If the Ravens have injuries, and I get that, but look at the 49ers in Tampa Bay. They got injuries, and both of them are leading their division.
Yep.
So I can't really use that excuse, And again, I'm going to say this: I like Cooper Rush. He was on Dallas, but I said him going to Baltimore was a bad idea because he doesn't fit that playbook. They should have probably have a player who's like Lamar Jackson, maybe Dollar Tree Lamar Jackson. Maybe you could win one of these games, but your defense is trash. So there's that. Giants, what the fuck? That's all I can say is what the fuck. Eagles, now, here's the thing with their offense. You know that their offensive running attack's actually worse this year than it was last year in the second half? Barkley's not running as good as he did.
No, their passing game is awful.
Oh, yeah. I kind of regret picking 2 Eagle players in fantasy because they have not got me a lot of points. Both of them combined are averaging about I have one of the second or third wide receiver, and then I have their main tight end. I was hoping they would get me more points, but they're barely getting 10 points apiece, so there is that. Dave says, thank you, God and church. Hey, Dave, you're not allowed to go to church until after the season, okay? That's a new rule.
Yep. New rule.
Raiders, I got to talk about the Raiders real quick and the Indianapolis incident with Mark Sanchez. Just going to tie these together. First, Raiders, what the fuck? I actually thought when Geno Smith got there, and because he did well with Pete Carroll in Seattle, Geno Smith played well. But, yeah, Geno Smith leads the league in throwing interceptions. This has not been a good year for the Raiders. This might just be see what happens with the rest of our staff and go from there. Dolphins, you choked. Your head coach should be fired. I don't know who's going to be fired first, but it's either going to be the Giants head coach or Miami Dolphins head coach. And now to the Cardinals. Okay, can we teach our players to hold on to the damn ball till they cross the end zone and get the touchdown? Because that cost the Cardinals. Yes, I know everyone's going to say, well, the interception they got and then the fumble. No. Because if that touchdown happens for Arizona, Tennessee probably doesn't make the comeback. So, good job, Arizona. You choked away a win. And Titans, you won your first game. Congratulations. But it fucked up your draft stock because now you fell out because I think you were going to be have control of the number one pick till that win. So now the Titans got to hope the Jets win a few games, which I don't see that happening.
Yep. I don't either.
Other than that, nothing there. So let's talk about the other big news that happened over the weekend. Mark Sanchez. Well, he got stabbed, and when we first all read that, we were all like, oh, I hope he's okay. Let's pray for him. Corey says Geno's trash. Yeah. I make Geno look good with the Saints, but in real life, he's trash right now. But Mark Sanchez got stabbed. We all were praying for him, thinking it was some random attack, and then we saw the news reports. We saw the video. Apparently, he was getting into a fight with a 69-year-old man about parking there, and the guy felt for his life and stabbed him a bunch. Now, I saw what Mark Sanchez did to him. Holy shit. Now, Mark Sanchez was drunk, which, if you had to call the Colts-Raiders game, I kind of probably would have wanted to have been drunk too. But what the worst thing about it is everybody had to listen to a former Notre Dame quarterback call that game. I apologize. But, Mark Sanchez is probably going to be going to jail for a while and probably paying the family a lot of money. So, good job there. So, with that being said, it's time for the news.
The guy was...
Oh, go ahead.
The guy was trying to make money. He was door dashing, and he was a door dasher trying to deliver food. And then Mark Sanchez got pissed off.
Yeah, so good job there, Mark. So with that being said, it's time for everyone's new segment that we've been doing, Clown of the Week. And of course, we have a lot of clowns up for this one. We have Penn State. We have Texas. We have the Bengals for trading for Joe Falco, realizing they're probably fucked. Mark Sanchez is also Clown of the Week. The Dolphins and the Cardinals for choking away their games. So, everybody in the comments section on my end on YouTube or on Twitch, who is your Clown of the Week? Travis, who do you give the Clown of the Week award to?
Mark Sanchez. Fuck him.
Can't blame you there. I was actually torn between two choices, Penn State and Mark Sanchez. But I had to vote for Mark Sanchez just because of what the fuck he did. If it wasn't for him being in the news, it would have been Penn State because of them losing to UCLA and maybe missing the whole playoffs. But Mark Sanchez gets it this week. So, with that being said, it's time for the picks. By the way, there are two teams with a bye this week. The Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. So if you have any of their players in fantasy football, please remember to switch them. Because if not, you're going to lose. Speaking of which, that's kind of the reason I won my fantasy matchup last week. Because my opponent forgot to bench Brock Purdy. And I'm glad he did because his backup quarterback was Stroud from the Houston Texans. I would have ended that game with an L. But we have our first game of the week, Thursday Night Football, the Eagles and the Giants rivalry. Record does not matter, but Eagles coming off a loss that they probably maybe should have won that game, but they played bad offensively. Granted, we knew Denver's defense was a threat. We even made that point last week. Giants, what the fuck? After that great win, you looked like, oh, maybe switching the quarterback was good, and then you fell back to earth, losing to the Saints. Now, the game is in New York. But with that being said, I'm sorry, Giants fans. I can make you look good in Madden when I'm your quarterback, but I can't see you winning this game at home. Give me the Eagles. The Eagles turn it around a little bit, but it's going to be closer than people think. I think Eagles win a close one, so give me the Eagles. Travis, who do you and everybody else have?
We all got the Eagles.
Oh, wow. Damn, no one's got faith in the Giants. Well, you know what that means. Good job, Giants, on winning.
No, not that one.
Oh. Up next, we go to jolly old London.
No.
What?
Well, I'm just saying the Giants ain't winning.
Oh, yeah. Knowing all luck to watch that happen, so everybody starts off 0-1. Now we go to London, and I just got to apologize to the people in London. Losing neighbors was huge. Got the Eagles streamlining them. Barkley gets more than 6 carries, is what Corey says. Yeah, that is the one thing that hurt the Giants, losing neighbors for the season.
Yep.
Now, we're going to London, and I have to apologize on behalf of America to London, as it is the Denver Broncos playing against the winless Jets. The Jets can't do anything right, and they're about to play a team that has a defense, unlike Dallas. And Bo Nix, yes, I know Bo Nix is not the greatest quarterback on the planet. Most people would not pick him. But Bo Nix just has to play competent football and let the defense carry the team. Because that's pretty much what the Broncos are. I kind of used this term last year and people thought I was crazy. They remind me of the Chicago Bears or the Ravens that won Super Bowls. That team was built on their defense and the quarterback just had to play competent, good football. Broncos should win this game easily. I don't see the Jets staying competitive because they're undisciplined. They can't get a turnover on defense. Normally I know a lot of people in the Jets organization fans want to fire their head coach. It's just not the head coach. The whole team has problems, and it's going to take a long time for the Jets to get rebuilt. So give me the Broncos here on over there in London, and that game's at 9:30. Travis.
Yes. You might want to ask Corey for his pick on this one to make sure it's correct. Because I want to know what the hell he was thinking.
Okay, Corey. Who did Corey pick?
He on the thing he sent you, he picked the Jets.
Okay. Who did everyone else pick?
The Broncos.
Broncos. Okay, Corey, if you're still here, why did you pick the Jets? That's hopefully he answers that question, because he says Jets, Blow Nick sucks, plus the Broncos are flying an extra 2 time zones and are leaving a day later than the Jets. That's not bad reasoning, actually.
It's not. I see his reasoning, but again, it's the Jets.
At least he's not saying just because he hates the Broncos and everything because he's a Raiders fan. I would have been like, that's terrible. But I can't hate that reasoning, so okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah, I respect it.
Up next, it is the Seahawks and the Jaguars. This game's very interesting. The Seahawks are a lot of fun to watch. They got a fun offense, not a bad defense. They just lost a shootout to Tampa Bay. Jaguars, let's be honest here. If you were to tell somebody, hey, when we get to week 6, the Jaguars would be 4-1 and just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody would have said you lost your goddamn mind. But
yep,
that's not the case. The Jaguars actually look good. Trevor Lawrence looks like he did back in college. See what happens when you get a head coach, who actually cares about you and actually motivates you? That's important. Dave said Raven, the wrestler, got diagnosed with Parkinson's. My prayers to Raven. So here's the thing. This was one of my hardest picks, because I'm like, the Jaguars have looked good the last 2 weeks, getting good upset wins. Seattle's been a fun team, but you don't trust Seattle that much. And of course, because I haven't moved the controller that much, got to bring that back up. But guess what? For the 3rd week in a row, I am taking the Jaguars to win. I think the Jaguars might be one of the most surprising teams in the AFC if it wasn't for one other team that they actually also face a lot of. So give me the Jags here. Corey says Kitty goes meow in the... Wow, that's... Damn, I can understand people picking Seattle because Seattle is a fun team, so... Should be a good game, and I do agree with Corey. That's going to be the game of the week. I don't know if it's going to be shown in Virginia, but I'm hoping. Next, okay, this will not be the game of the week. This will be a moto of the week, one of the moto games. The Rams are going to Baltimore. Ravens have so many injuries. They can't stop anything. Derrick Henry can't get the ball running. Lamar Jackson's not going to be back for this game. He'll be back after the bye week because they got a bye in week 7. Ravens have so much pressure on them because if they lose this game, they're done. And I'm going to say this right now. Pittsburgh might win that division easily with the Browns not having an offense, the Bengals having nothing, and the Ravens having nothing. Here's the thing. When week 1 started, I had more faith in my mom's Ravens than the Cowboys. But we're week 6. Guess what, Travis? I have more faith in the Cowboys making the playoffs before the Ravens right now. And I actually had the Ravens making the playoffs in my preseason predictions. So it looks like, I wasn't expecting the injuries out the ass. Plus, Baltimore has a chance to get the number 1 pick on the draft, because they're in the top 5 right now for getting that. That's how bad they are. They got one of the worst defenses, which is because of injury. The offense can't get anything going without Lamar, and King Henry's not moving the ball. Corey's got the Raiders, LA's second favorite team, get the win. I have to go with the Rams here. I have zero faith in the Ravens until they heal up. Now, with that being said, a lot of Ravens fans want their head coach fired. Are you fucking stupid? It's not his fault half the team got injured. Yes, exactly. I know the 49ers and Buccaneers have played through the injuries, the same thing. But remember, the Niners are kind of built, with how the playbook is. They can miss key players and still win games. We've seen it. Buccaneers are not missing their star quarterback. They're missing Mike Evans. Ravens are missing Lamar Jackson, which we know that team runs through offensively. And they're missing so many players on defense. They just made a trade with the Chargers, I think, to get a defensive player. So, Ravens fans, I'm going to say this. It's going to be a long season. Pittsburgh, enjoy getting a playoff spot and getting a home game because I don't see anybody catching you. But give me the Rams. Corey's got the Rams. Who does everybody else have, Travis?
Rosie's got the Ravens.
What? No, Rosie, this is why you're in the basement. No, nobody in their right mind would pick Baltimore here.
Well, and then we all are smart and have the Rams.
Oh, Rosie, why would you pick Baltimore? Why? Up next.
I guess she's doing it for your mom. I don't know. That's the only thing I can see.
Yeah, I know. I would tell my mom. I'd be like, "Mom, I love you, but I can't pick Baltimore. They suck." And I know what she would say. Yeah, well, they suck. We got too many injuries, and Cooper Rush can't do shit like Lamar Jackson. Up next, we're going to Miami where the Chargers are playing the Dolphins. Chargers, after getting those 3 wins in a row, they've looked bad. And, they're missing one of their running backs. But they're playing a Dolphins team who doesn't know how to hold on to a lead. The Dolphins have been terrible most of this year. Give me the Chargers here. I don't feel confident with it because of how bad they played the last 2 weeks. But this should be a bounce-back game for the Chargers. Corey says LA's third favorite team wins barely in an almost upset. I could see the Dolphins getting the upset here, which I'm going to say this. If the Chargers do lose this, we're going to have to start questioning, are they frauds? Because after beating the Broncos, Raiders, and Chiefs, you have lost 3 games in a row if you lose this one. So something's going wrong there. And it's not, I can't say injuries here because they're not really missing a lot of key players. So I don't know what their deal is here. Maybe they're, after winning those 3 games, they've decided to take a nap. But Dolphins should lose this. I don't see them being a threat. Who does everyone else have, Travis? You and the gang.
We all got the Chargers.
Oh, wow. Great. Up next, we're heading to the Steel City of Pittsburgh, home of Kurt Angle, hoagies, and other good things. As the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off their bye, play the Cleveland Browns, who, their defense is good. The offense, Cleveland's still out on this. AFC West may be ass. Chargers missing the 2 starting tackles. Oh, that could be an issue then for the Chargers. But I know they still got a great quarterback there and some decent receivers.
Yep.
Now, before we make this pick, Travis, if I remember correctly, your dad is a Steelers fan, correct?
That is correct.
So we're going to let you go first on this one. Who do you have winning, Cleveland or Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh. It's all because Cleveland's offense sucks.
Yeah, I agree. And so So you got the Steelers. Who does everyone else have?
Dave, Rosie, Dark, and Rays has the Steelers.
All right.
Corey, if his pick is correct from what he sent, pick the Browns.
All right, Corey. You picked the Browns here. I have to know the reasoning why, just because, you know, I can understand if you're basing it off the Browns defense, because the Browns defense is good, but that offense I just don't trust. Browns in a weird game defensively get a weird game defensive TD gets them a win. Okay, well, so you're going to ride with the defense. I can respect that because the Browns do have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
They do.
Nope. So I can't lie there. You know, I'm going to say this. I think a lot of Steel fans may be shocked by this. It's going to be a close game. I think all the Pittsburgh fans are saying, oh, this is going to be a blowout because of how bad the Browns offense is. Let's be honest here. That Browns defense can stop you. We saw what they did against Green Bay. Their defense made the comeback happen. So, Steelers, I'm going to say this. If you want to win this game, you're going to have to put up points every time you get the ball, because if not, it's going to catch up to you and you're going to lose this game. But because of Travis's dad and the fact of I trust the Steelers offense a little bit more, I will be taking Pittsburgh here to win at home. But it's going to be a close game, probably one of the more shocking defensive battles. Next,
I see that happen.
Up next, we're heading to Tampa Bay in an injury shootout as the 49ers take on the Buccaneers. Both teams have injuries, but they are still winning games. Future Rookie of the Year leads Tampa to a win. Secoy's got the Buccaneers. Now, Dave's got the 49ers. We already know this. So we already know that split. I'm going to be honest here. This was my second hardest game because of injuries. I actually kept going back and forth because, I like Baker Mayfield. But, man, I can't hate what Mac Jones just did to the Rams. He's had a longer time to rest. The Niners, with all their injuries, look good. If Mike Evans was playing, I'd be taking Tampa here. But I think the Niners are going to win this game, and it's going to be a shootout there. It's going to be close. So it's going to be a shootout situation. But give me the Niners to win in the shootout in the end. But, man, I'm going to say this. If both these teams were healthy, they would make the pick a hell of a lot harder. So we got 2-1. Travis, who does everyone else have?
This was my hardest game to pick. Rosie and Dark have the 49ers.
Okay.
Rays has the Bucks. I almost had to flip a coin, but I'm going Tampa.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. This is the one game I think any pick you make, you're going to feel confident with them because of how both teams have looked great, even with all the injuries. But, man, if everybody was healthy, oh, God, I would love to see what they would do. I would love to see that game. Yeah. And we might get to, because these two teams could face off in the playoffs. And if they're both healthy, that's going to make it hard on us.
Right now, everybody was talking about Eagles, Packers, NFC Championship, potential Super Bowl. Right now, in my eyes, it's going through San Francisco and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, because they've looked well better even with all their injuries. When they're healthy, I wouldn't want to face them. Yeah. Up next, we're going down to New Orleans, which you see me play this game after the pick show is done on YouTube. It is the Patriots on the road against the Saints. Saints just getting their first win of the year, even though they're a giant clusterfuck. Patriots get the big win over Buffalo, showing that, hey, we're actually coming back. We're not like the old Death Star team, but we're making our way back. We made a note. And by the way, I will say this with the quarterback. He showed up on Sunday. I didn't think he was going to show up. I thought this is the game he falls off a cliff, and he didn't. But remember how we always say sometimes you get a big win, you have to make a sacrifice to the football gods? The Patriots, you won last week against the Bills, but you lost your running back for the season. But with that being said, let's be honest, it's not going to affect you. The Saints are pretty much just here to enjoy the ride. They don't really have a lot going for them because the Panthers are looking better than them. Atlanta's up and down, and that division's being run by Tampa Bay. Give me the Patriots here to get back-to-back weeks. Corey's got the Patriots as well. Travis, who do you and everybody else have? If I hear the Saints, I'm going to have to punch somebody.
We all got the Patriots.
That's good. That is good. Drake Mayer's looking to be the best QB in the class. Gibson was second string running back. Oh, I thought he was first string. Okay. My bad.
No, it's Stevens or Stevenson, I think, took over the top spot.
Okay. I must have got confused. I apologize about that, but that does happen from time to time because I'm not that bright. Up next, my Dallas Cowboys on the road against the Panthers team who got a comeback victory. This game is in Carolina. Dallas, by the way, yes, I'm going to mention it here. I know Jerry Jones got fined $250,000 for flicking off Jets fans, but let's be honest, Jets fans have done a whole lot worse than that. Plus, it's a drop in the bucket for Jerry Jones anyway. And I didn't put him as con of the week because it's the fucking Jets. We're probably all flicking them off and making fun of them. I'd have been more upset if he didn't do it. Dallas has looked good these last few weeks defensively, getting a little bit better. The defense did look okay against Green Bay. The defense looked better against the Jets. Granted, it was the Jets. And Dak Prescott has played well all year, so much so that I almost died of a heart attack this week when Stephen A. Smith said his MVP vote, if he had one right now, would go to Dak Prescott. So that just tells me the world is ending, cats and dogs are living together, and it's going to be raining Sonic rings outside. With that being said, Corey's picking Dallas. I'm picking the Cowboys as well. So that's 2 for the Cowboys. Travis, who did you and everybody else pick? I already know who Dave picked. So Dave's not here to defend himself. But Dave, why the fuck did you pick the Panthers?
He's picked him like almost every week.
I'm like, ugh. I don't know why, but who does everyone else have?
We all got the Cowboys.
All right, except Dave. Now, I will say this. If the Panthers do win, I already have a song. I already have a song lined up, which shouldn't be surprising. Let's just say it involves a former ECW World Champion who loved to be awesome. That's your clue for this week. So moving on to Indianapolis, the other team who we are all surprised that are 4-1. Did anyone have the Colts being 4-1?
No.
No. I seriously, if you did, I want to know so I can come to your house and sell you some land on Pluto, okay? Colts, you're looking great, looking like a legit team. We all said, depending how they played with the Rams, would say if they were frauds or not. And yes, they lost that game, but it was a close loss. It wasn't like a blowout. They barely lost that game. Cardinals, I'm going to say this. Before you blew it, I actually was thinking about picking you. But after the stupidity you did, by the way, their head coach was fined, I think, $100,000 for going off on a player and going off. Colts look better. They got a better quarterback because I think Cardinals quarterback's getting ready to get injured at some point to go play video games. Sorry, I got to go with the Colts here, and I'm going to say this. If the Colts make the playoffs, their head coach has got to be up for Coach of the Year. Because they somehow got Danny Dimes to play great football. And I'm going to say this. If I'm a Giants fan, I'd be pissed. Because Barkley's played better with the Eagles, and Danny Dimes is playing better with the Colts, and yet you couldn't do shit with either one of them. That says how bad the Giants are. Moving on. Oh, by the way, who does everyone else have? Because Corey's got the Colts as well. He's got the Ponies.
Rosie's got the Cardinals, and we all got the Colts.
Rosie, why? Why? Sometimes I feel like Dave and Rosie just do it just to get my reactions going. Up next. Oh, wait, the Oaf's moving. You know why? This is not just a tank bowl. It's a super motherfucking tank bowl!
Woo, 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 woo.
And why do I say that? Because it's the 1-4 Tennessee Titans taking on the 1-4 Raiders. I'm going to say this. This should be shown in prison to people who committed crimes so they can suffer. This will quite possibly be the worst game for fantasy owners and fans of either team. I am thankful it's not being shown on my television because I will be watching the Bengals and Packers. Because those are the because right now, unless something's changed, there's only 2 games at 4 o'clock: Titans, Raiders, Bengals, Packers. Unless something's.
Let's see.
Oh no, like that's right. Didn't the Niners Bucks game get moved to 4 o'clock, 4 something?
Yeah, that's probably gonna be the game we get to watch. Let's see. Coverage map. Week 6. Let's see who we get.
Travis is looking that up. Corey says the autumn wind is a pirate. I'll be tuned in. LOL. Yeah, I know you're picking the Raiders here on this one, and I wish you luck. I will say this: I'm glad I don't have Geno Smith as my quarterback in that game for fantasy, because I think I would play him, but at least I know that would cost me a win.
Let's see, Doug, you're on the border of Rams, Ravens, and I'm getting Cowboys, Panthers.
Can we switch? Because I don't want to sit for the Ravens again.
And then just 1 o'clock game on CBS, we're getting the Steelers, Browns.
All right, I can live with that. Steelers, Browns will be fine.
And then the 4:25 game will be Bucks, 49ers.
Okay, well, shit. But back to this one. We know Corey's got the Raiders. I want to be honest here. Both teams suck equally to me. I let fate decide. I flipped a coin because I could not logistically. If we believed in ties, this would be the game I would vote for, the tie. But because we don't, I am taking the Titans here because that's who won the coin toss on my coin. It landed on the Titans, so I'm taking the Titans because of a coin flip. Travis, who do you and everybody else have? Because I really don't want to think about this game unless I'm being tortured.
Dark picked the Titans, and we all picked the Raiders, and I just picked them because it's Corey's team, and that's my only reason.
Yeah, I had to flip a coin because I couldn't decide on this one. This was just a... You ever feel like because I think this is the first time I've said this. This is the one time I wish this game did not exist. If we could just move this game to like 2 a.m. in Saudi Arabia, that would be great.
Yeah. Because I still want to watch it. Even if somebody paid me money, I still would not watch this game.
You would have to pay me a $100 PSN card to watch this game. I'm a cheap whore. Moving on, though, we're going to Green Bay as the Packers welcome in the Bengals in an interesting situation. Bengals now have a new quarterback as they traded with the Browns to get old man Joe, who the Packers just lost to not too long ago. But the Packers are coming off a bye after that tie, so they got some players healed up. You know, Green Bay should win this game because the Bengals have no offense or defense. So, Travis, we're going to let you go first since this is your team. Explain to everybody why they should pick Green Bay if they haven't.
Why? They don't have a defense. Jordan Love better play just as good as like he did against Dallas. But goddamn, our defense better know how to defend either Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. You can't double team either one of them because you're going to leave somebody wide open. So we can't blitz, really. Michael Parsons, Rashawn Gary, y'all didn't do shit against Dallas. Both of y'all need to wake the fuck up. I think it's going to be closer than what people think. And who knows? If we lose, that just means Joe Flacco beat us twice in 1 year.
Yep. And that would be fucking hilarious. Corey says Kitty goes meow as the Packers completely destroy the Bengals. So that's 2 for the Packers. Travis, who does everyone else have?
We all got the Packers.
All right, so that means me. Well, I'm afraid I got some bad news. I am not picking the upset here. Oh, fuck no. The Bengals have the worst offensive line. Bengals have no defense, so they didn't learn anything from last year. You know, if Green Bay loses this game, everyone's going to be saying Green Bay is going to be like, we should have never traded for Parsons because he has not shown up at all this year. And
yep.
He has not. As a matter, that's been an issue because that's the one thing you and me talked about when the trade was done that we were both worried about because if Parsons didn't show up, it would really hurt them. And the funny thing is the guy we got from Green Bay more than Parsons, but this should be Parsons' best game because the Bengals have no offensive line. So give me the Packers. But if the Packers lose this game, there's going to be a lot of people questioning what the fuck's going on. Particularly because, Minnesota's looking good. The Bears might be turning it around. And, of course, the Lions are the Lions right now who are doing well. But I'm going to say this. If the Bengals lose this, and depending how the rest of the season goes, do the Bengals fire their head coach? Because it seems, Joe Burrow's been getting injured every other year. That's not his fault. That's on the owners for not putting money into their offensive line. But at some point, you're going to have to make a change. So do the Bengals fire their head coach after this season if they don't make the playoffs again?
I'm going to say no.
No. I don't think he gets fired because, because of the injuries, but I'm going to say this. Next year, it's a make or break, and the Bengals need to invest in the offensive line. So Bengal fans and Bengal owner, do the small thing in the draft. Get offensive line players because that's what's going to save Joe Burrow, or else he's going to become like Andrew Luck and retire in a few years so he doesn't end up crippled. Up next, we're heading to Kansas City as the Detroit Lions are on the road against the Chiefs. Well, the Lions beat the Bengals, and no fucking surprise there. The Chiefs get upset by the Jags, and Kansas City's kind of on the ropes right now. There might be a changing of the guard in the AFC. Corey says, Lions bend the Chiefs over and dominate them like Taylor does Kelsey. Damn! Here's the thing. I enjoyed Kansas City losing on Monday. Because, I was like, yes, let Taylor Swift cry. And let me get a cup so I can drink her tears. Now, I know there was one of my friends, Matt, who was a Taylor Swift fan. He was upset that Taylor Swift would be upset. I told him, can I drink some of your tears too? I love when Kansas City loses because it means Taylor Swift is upset and Kelsey won't get pegged in the ass since he's a tight end, if you know what I mean. Here's the thing. And the refs even tried to save the Chiefs in that game. There was no doubt about it. The refs were trying to make sure Jaguars didn't win that game. I'm taking the Lions here. Their defense has been playing great. The Chiefs have had some defensive issues, and the offense has not been clicking as good. They've gone week to week where it's either great or it's subpar. The Lions are a scary team. Give me Detroit on the road. Chiefs are going to not be looking good. And if this keeps up, you might as well hand over the division to the Broncos or the Chargers at this point. Travis, who do you and the other ones have since we know me and Coy have the Lions?
Rosie picked the Chiefs.
Why, Rosie? Why?
Which, Rays and Dark and Dave picked the Lions. So I'm going to say this. The Chiefs need this game.
Chiefs do
right?
need it.
They're what, 2 and 3?
2 and 3, yeah. They need this game to at least go 3-3.
Well, I got some bad news for them. But they ain't beating Detroit. The only way Detroit will lose is because of the referees. Give me the
interesting stat there by Coy. Thank you so much for that stat. Now we're heading to Atlanta on Monday Night Football, baby. The Dirty South as the Birds welcome the Bills. Now the Falcons had a bye the past week, which they kind of needed because they've kind of been up and down this year. Bills just lost their first game to New England. So the Bills might be playing a little bit angry this Monday night. Of course, we know Josh Allen, he isn't up for MVP. He did have a bad game, but the Patriots defense was good. Atlanta's had issues this year. I don't know if we can trust Atlanta or not. I don't want to say they're frauds, but I don't consider them a great team. I kind of consider them middle of the road, not bad, not great, kind of like, hey, we're still floating, we're still alive, kind of. It helps that it helps that the Saints fucking suck and Carolina's kind of up and down, but you're there. Here's the thing. I'm playing the Bills defense. I'm playing Josh Allen this week again. I'm playing Cook again in my fantasy. So guess what? Give me the Bills at home. Football Jesus himself, Josh Allen, gets the W. And remember, go buy some of Josh Allen's cereal. It's delicious, and it helps raise money for cancer patients, I think. So give me the Bills. Corey says, football Jesus gets back in the groove, baby. I added the baby part. Travis, who do you and everybody else have?
We all got the Bills. Riding with football Jesus. Last week was a fluke. Yeah. If they lose to the Falcons, I think there might be a small worry in Buffalo.
I agree. I think people will be wanting to put somebody through a flaming table. Next, the other Monday night game, and this is why there was no Skins game on Sunday. The Skins are at home against the Bears. Bears coming off a bye. Bears kind of got 2 wins in a row. They're looking interesting, which is somewhat surprising because let's see, they beat the Cowboys. Who did they beat in Week 4? Because they won in Week 4 as well.
Who?
The Bears. Oh, yeah, the Bears beat the Raiders in Week 4. So, Bears, kind of coming off hot, winning 2 games in a row after losing the first 2. Skins, though, they got some of their pieces back last week, and their defense looked good against a Chargers team. Corey says Skins get the W, I believe, as they slowly start getting healthier. And I have to agree with that. I think the Skins are getting healthier now. They got their main player back as quarterback. They are still missing a few pieces who are done for the season, but I think they're going to beat the Bears. I think now if the Bears win this, that's going to be interesting because this is really the first legit team they would beat because Dallas, let's be honest, Dallas just had no defense at all in that game, but Dallas is turning it around, so that might look good later on depending what happens, but they beat the Raiders by a miracle. So, but give me the Skins at home to win on Monday night. Corey's got the Skins. Travis, who do you and everyone else has? Chicago to make CM Punk happy? Or are you going to say, man, fuck CM Punk and, man, fuck Seth Rollins too, because they're both Bear fans. And by the way, fuck the Cubs.
Everybody's got the Skins. And guess what? Fuck Chicago. Give me the Cubs. Give me the Skins. Remember, this game last year is what turned Washington's season around with that Hail Mary.
And that was because the one player decided not to do a damn thing for Chicago, and we all were dumbfounded by that. How he still has a job, I don't know. But looking ahead, and I got an interesting question for our viewers before we head out. So first, looking ahead to Week 7. Thursday night next week is the Steelers and Bengals. Okay, well, we're going to see the Bengals get murdered on prime time. Week 7 London game. Hey, London gets a good game finally. Rams and Jaguars.
Hey, best international game all year.
Yep, so good job there. Corey's Raiders play the Chiefs.
Oh, damn.
Rosie and Doc's Giants play the Broncos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Travis's Packers play the Cardinals next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Cowboys play the Skins, so division rivalry. That should be interesting.
Dave's 49ers play.
Dave's 49ers on Sunday Night Football as they play the Atlanta Falcons. And
why the fuck is that Sunday night?
Because apparently somebody thought Atlanta would be good. Then we have 2 Monday night games next week again. It would be the Buccaneers and Lions and the Texans and Seahawks. Which, I will say this, I think those 2 Monday night games are a little bit better than what we're getting this week. Now, there is one question, because people are asking this and begging the NFL to do this. We actually got to jump ahead in the schedule a little bit to Thanksgiving. Because
they're not going to switch any Thanksgiving games.
There is one game people are begging to switch, and you might know which one it is if you've been paying attention to the season.
Ravens.
Bengals and Ravens, because Packers and Lions will be a good game. Chiefs and Dallas will be interesting, because either Kansas City's going to lose in Dallas, or Dallas ends up fucking themselves over. But the Bengals and Ravens, can we please switch that to anything? No one's going to want to watch that fucking game. I'd rather watch 2 homeless people fight over a turkey leg before I watch the Bengals and Ravens because of how bad they are.
Let's see, hypothetically, if they do, which I don't see, because that's a big moneymaker for teams.
Yeah, I know that, but no one's going to want to sit through that because Seriously, does anyone want to watch the Bengals and Ravens on Thanksgiving, seeing how they are now?
The only game I could see them switching it to, maybe the Broncos command. Well, no. Yeah, maybe. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, because it's Pittsburgh in the history, maybe. But Texans, other than that, that's...
Texans and Colts, maybe, because that might be for playoff and seeding and division maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to do that, then we got to think about the Christmas Day games, too. Well, no, all those are, well, yeah, all those are fine.
And don't forget Black Friday's Bears and Eagles, so yeah. That's going to suck, because we start out Thanksgiving with a great game in Packers and Lions. Then we get a good game at 4:30 between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. You know, that could be the Chiefs have imploded and they suck, or Dallas might be turning it around, look like a legit team. Who the hell knows by the time we get there. But Bengals and Ravens, I'm sorry. If I could, I would rather have flypaper drugged across my ball sack than watch the Bengals and Ravens on Thanksgiving night.
They're not the ball sacks.
I would rather have somebody take a sledgehammer to my nutsack before I watch this game. That's how bad they are, because there's a chance both these teams may only have the Ravens have 1 win. How many wins do the Bengals have right now? 2?
Yeah, because I think they started 2-0.
Yeah, so there's a chance this game could decide who gets the number 1 pick in the draft, and that's not even worth me watching. You know, I don't want to see a tank both on Thanksgiving night. No one wants that. So no, NFL, do the right thing and switch it with any other game. I would sit through the Niners and Browns, because at least I know that'd be a good defensive battle. I'll sit through the Texans and Colts, because that would be a good divisional battle. Hell, give me the Saints and Dolphins, because at least I know both teams suck, and that would be funny, because they're actually healthy and suck. So at least that would be, hey, there's a chance Miami might fire their head coach after this fucking game. Hell, Vikings Seahawks would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Bills and Steelers, like you said, that would be a great game to watch on Thanksgiving night. I would pay to watch that. Hell, give me the Raiders and Chargers at least, because at least that's a divisional rival, you know. Well, no, the Raiders might be done by then. So no, don't give me Raiders Chargers. Because you're not going to switch Broncos and Skins, because that's Sunday night on NBC. But can we switch the Monday night game at least? Because that's Giants and Patriots. It feels like the whole Week 13 we need to switch some games around.
Giants and the Patriots? That's a shitty ass Monday night game.
Yeah, I'm looking at Thanksgiving. You know what's sad? Just looking at this schedule. Packers and Lions, great game. Chiefs Cowboys, should be fun. Bengals Ravens, ass. Bears Eagles. No one's going to care. Though. Could be good, but it's Black Friday. Most people will be out shopping. Rams, Panthers. Depending how the Panthers go, because they're not bad right now. Niners, Browns. Great defensive game. Falcons, Jets. Seeing how bad the Jets are. Texans, Colts. Good division rivalry. Cardinals, Bucks. We'll see who the quarterback is for Arizona before we answer that question. Saints, Dolphins. Somebody's going to get fired. Jaguars, Titans. Jaguars might be playing to lock up some continued playoff seeding. Vikings, Seahawks. Should be a nice shootout. Bills, Steelers. Great matchup. Raiders, Chargers. I'll pass. Broncos, Skins. That could be a good defensive game. And then Giants and Patriots. No fucking thank you. When's Christmas? What week is Christmas again?
14?
Is it week 16? Because there's 2 Saturday games on that week.
It is week 17.
Week 17, okay. Oh God, there's 3 games on
Thursday. You got Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, Broncos, Chiefs.
Oh God, yeah, no one. Well, everybody might have a good Merry Christmas with those games. And then Saturday.
And then we have 2 Saturday. Well, a lot of Saturday games.
God. There's only one. None of them are good either. Oh God. I hate.
Well, I mean, we thought beginning of the season the Packers Ravens would have been a good game, but
I just got to keep looking on ahead because I thought there was another European game. Okay, we do have one more 9:30 game we got to discuss real quick, and that's in Week 10, Falcons and Colts. That could be interesting. And then we got Skins and Dolphins in Week 11 on Sunday morning at 9. All right, but that's been the pick show for this week, guys. I hope we've entertained you and you've had some laughs. Of course, we will be back next week on the pick show to discuss more college and NFL. Who will be our clown of this coming week? Of course, everyone kind of voted for Mark Sanchez, with Penn State being in second place, which I don't think that surprises anybody. I'll be getting ready to do the Saints game where I take on Ray's Patriots. Can I keep the winning streak going for the New Orleans Saints? And hey, I get Barkley back, or can the Patriots finally stop me and give him my first L? I should point out the Patriots right now are 3-2, so I might have a tough time, but probably not. And just looking at my fantasy season, with the draft, Packers are 3-1, so that's good for you, Travis. Dave's 49ers are 4-1. My Cowboys are somehow 5-0. Corey's Raiders are 5-0. Rosie and Doc's Giants are 0-5. So that sucks. But I'm getting ready to do my next stream. So everyone have a good night. Peace out. Be safe. Remember, don't be like Mark Sanchez. Don't be out drunk in public. Drink at home where you won't get arrested or fucking stabbed. So until next week review for the picks, we will see you next week on that.